This message is just for you. You are good enough. This is the episode for you. How do we deal with other people's opinions about our language learning? Yesterday, I started a conversation about whether telling people about our goals made it less likely that we'd actually stick to them. The idea that getting immediate acknowledgement of our goals and plans by telling people about them could actually trick our brain into thinking it was progressing before it had done the work. And today we're going to look at another issue that comes up when we tell people what we're up to, and that is other people's opinions. Telling people what you want to achieve in life can open up the doors to all sorts of unsolicited advice and opinions and comparisons, all sorts of horror stories. And as much as a lot of us know that we want to carve our own paths in our language learning or whatever other big goals we're chasing, it can make us pretty anxious when people offer their advice or outright dismiss our process. And it can restart that spiral of feeling like we're behind, we're doing it wrong, or we're missing certain rules that everybody else seems to know and we don't. And I don't know about you, but as a younger adult, advice was something that I really struggled to filter. It was so easy to think that if someone was older, they must know better. Or if they said it really confidently, they must be right. They must know something that I didn't. And often it didn't matter if a tiny voice piped up in my head and said, actually, it didn't agree, because that initial feeling ran the show. I felt humiliated, I felt dressed down, or I felt like someone had taken my entire toolkit away. But language learners, we have to be really intentional about taking advice. Because, and this is something that took me far too long to learn, advice really is something that can be accepted or rejected. We know that advice comes from everywhere. So why do we let ourselves listen to everyone? We let ourselves get swayed by people who don't know anything about it. They haven't lived it, they haven't struggled through it, they don't know. A lot of the time, they're just parroting things that they've heard or seen, people have told them secondhand. And we also know that advice can come from people who know something about it. Maybe people who learned a language at school or learned one in the pre-internet era, or people who have really strong ideas about the one and only correct way to learn a language. For them, their one true way is a safe, easy decision that they don't need to think about. But what if they've been so certain about their one true method that they haven't even tried to figure out if they could tweak it to help them make it work even better for them? Or maybe they have and they think that their ultimate conclusion will surely work for everyone. But either way, proceed with caution. We also know that advice can come from people who are experts in their field, but they aren't you. So in the language learning sphere, it might be that advice is coming from people who have dedicated their life to studying memory or pedagogy or linguistics. They might be hyper-polyglots, and they might have a lot of insight to offer. But that doesn't make them an unshakable authority on how to fit language learning into your life or how to fit it around your brain. And finally, advice can come from people who are going through the whole process with you right now. And these are your greatest allies. And yet you still have to be really selective about what you listen to. Because even if they're learning the same language as you, and they've been doing it for about the same amount of time as you, you're attending the same classes, you're still not the same, and you're still not on exactly the same path. Okay, you both have the same destination in mind, but you're still starting from two completely different addresses using two completely different modes of transport. So yeah, there may well be some points when you're both on the same stretch of road. You might want to warn them about some roadworks that you encounter on the way. But fundamentally, you are two different people with two different brains. If you attend the same classes, you still go home to two completely different lives. Your journey is not the same. So if there is one takeaway from this video, it's that you have the final say on the people that you bring into your language world. And you have the final say as to how you bring those people in. There are so many different places where you can get your information from, whether that's your real life surroundings or the voices that pop up in the language learning content you consume. And there are so many roads to learning a language. You get by far the biggest say on the path you want to take. You are the only person that has all the information about your starting point. You are the only person that knows how you experience things. And the scientific, the linguistic, the pedagogical theories, as helpful as they can be, can't tell what aligns with your goals and what aligns with your values. They can't tell you how you're going to feel when you leave your desk in the evening. And they can't make your language learning feel creatively fulfilling or personally meaningful. So filter your advice carefully. Don't let anyone drown out your gut feelings or stop you following the path that you know deep down is right for you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.